everyone, talking about the only 6 fragrances that my wife has consistently complimented. Obviously, I'm wearing stuff all the time, I'm sampling stuff all the time. Usually, the best case scenario that I'm going to get is no comment on it at all. Fine by me, that means I can wear it without a complaint. Cool. But it's very rare that something gets an active compliment. And actually, I appreciate that because I want it to be authentic, especially about like fragrance stuff. I don't want it to just be like, you smell good, and I don't really like. I know if I really get that, boom, okay, it's real. So let's jump into these. These aren't in order, but actually they sort of are. The first couple are. One, I actually have what I would call a signature scent that I wear to at night, every night, pretty much, yeah, especially to sleep. I've never once mentioned it on my channel. I don't talk about it really because it has laughable longevity and projection, and I know to most of you that is a very important factor, but it is amazing. It has an embarrassing name, yes, but it's by Aromi, Aromi, and it's called Sexy Man. Yeah, so I usually just call it Aromi SM. Not that sounds much less like that, but it has notes of like mandarin, exotic woods, mint, incense, black suede, like sort of a leathery vibe. And yeah, that's mainly it. Maybe it's like a little bit of cedar and some other stuff in there, but it is incredible every single time. And this is not an exaggeration or a joke that my wife has said, said sexy specifically about what I smell like. I've been wearing that, and she didn't realize it. So it wasn't like a joke. It wasn't like an attempt to like, oh, you're wearing that one I like. She didn't remember that it was the same one. She said that before. Every time that she has said that in the last year, I was wearing that. So again, longevity protection, terrible, absolute joke. And that's the case with all the Aromi ones I tried. They are kind of marketed as cologne, so that makes sense, but it's not something that, despite how sexy I think it smells, and apparently she does too, and the name and everything, it's not something that wear this before a date, because by the time you get there, it's probably going to have worn off. But one, wear it for yourself if you like it. Two, it's a great one. Aromi has solid colognes, and I don't usually use those, but I love that with this one. I have both the spray and the solid cologne. I really 90% use the solid cologne. It gives it this like warm vibe that really just sinks into your skin well, and actually has pretty good ingredients in it. So yeah, I would recommend that for either for self, or say that you know you're going to be like really up close with someone within the next 20 minutes, then yes, carry it around with you. If you're going home with someone, sneak into the bathroom and put the cologne on or something, because it is so good. Damn, like, yeah, I love it. I never get sick of it, even though I wear it every night to bed. It's like kind of cozy, but like sexy at the same. Not maybe I'm just thinking it's cozy because I wear it to bed, but I wouldn't normally do that with fragrance. This one just works for me like that, and it's so good. And it's not quite like you might think with some of those notes, like mint, incense, leather. That makes it sound like it would be this like really strong, like kind of hyper masculine thing. It's more just like confident, fresh, sexy. Like there's definitely a fresh and clean feel to it at the same time. But yep, secret's out. That is my signature scent and one of my favorite scents of all time. But don't say that I did not warn you that it has terrible longevity and projection. Next, this is an aftershave lotion that by Everyman Jack, called Signature Mint Aftershave Lotion. This always gets her. It hasn't been the word sexy, because every time that was said, like I said, was about Aromi Sexy Man, but that kind of vibe is what it's often gotten as a reaction. I would say it actually has somewhat decent projection, despite being, a lotion and not like a spray fragrance or whatever. I wish I could find a wearable fragrance that smelled like that too. It's the perfect kind of mint, in my opinion, where it's like, it's definitely not that bitter, authentic mint leaf kind. Great for some people if you like that, but for me, that's not really what I'm interested in to kind of smell like. It's just too bitter for that kind of mint. And it's also not a kind that's like so candy-ish or like peppermint or spearmint or something like that. It's almost like a good version of like a toothpaste mint, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I usually just kind of like put it here and maybe like on my chest and shoulders and stuff, but you could put it on your arms or wherever, and that always gets a good reaction. Like anytime that I'm near her and I'm wearing that, it's like, ooh, are you wearing that one I really like? She always recognizes that one. So, and that one's like, I think probably under $10. So that's the thing too. Like most of the ones on this list are actually really affordable too. But I've also tried so many cheaper ones too, and they don't get this reaction. So it's not just like, oh, basic. She says that about every single thing that's, designer mass appealing or something like that. No. But yeah, that Everyman Jack Signature Mint aftershave lotion, and they sell it at places like Target and stuff like that too, gets very, very good, consistent feedback. And I love the smell of that too. Next up, I would say this is pricey for what it is. It's not going to sound expensive compared to the prices I'm normally talking about with fragrances on here, but it is, I think, 40 something dollars. And this is a body butter by Tatcha, kind of like high-end skincare brand. I was interested in it because I was like, winter, I get dry skin or whatever, and I wanted a different body butter that was going to sink in better, because some of the ones I've tried just kind of sit there and it's not good. So I read good things about this. I really like Tatcha skincare stuff. I tried it. Ooh, I love this smell. Another one where I wish I could get a wearable fragrance like this. If you happen to have used any Tatcha products, like the Deep Cleanse cleanser, it smells a little bit like that to me. But the main ingredient that's in it is indigo, Japanese indigo. I'm not sure, like, maybe if there's something else that's giving it that smell. It's hard to even describe it, but it's like this kind of fresh, sort of uplifting, but also like laid back scent at the same time. And just, yeah, I can't really describe it because I don't even know what notes that would really evoke, but it also has a really cool blue color and it blends in really well. It is great for, your skin. So bonus there too. Yeah, it's expensive though, but a little bit does kind of go a long way and it really does sink in. It does a good job. And that one, I don't get a sexy type of compliment from, but it's usually just more like, oh, you smell really good or something like so, and I'll take it. Yeah. And that one, yeah, that has pretty good projection, I would say, for a body butter. Next up, this is by far the most basic on the list, both of me for wearing it and of her for loving it. Versace Eros, the EDT. So actually the first time I ever wore this on her, got a compliment. Next, it was like, ugh, why did you spray that before you got in the car? Because I oversprayed, and let that be a lesson. Overspraying is not always a good thing. If someone can love that fragrance, but if you are wearing too much, it turns it around completely 180 to making them really not thinking that you smell good in the moment. So I had been so eager. Oh, she complimented this last time. Like, it's probably going over. It's not like I sprayed like 20 sprays, but it was probably at least 5, which is a lot for that Versace Eros, because the projection and longevity are insane with that. Probably by far the most of anything that I own. Maybe not everyone gets that result, but I think that most people do get pretty good longevity projection from it. So yeah, I only do like usually 2 sprays tops with that one, and it projects very well. Like I can smell it on myself constantly too. And yeah, that one, I had her smell it again recently, and she was like, oh yeah, I really like that one. So obviously very popular, considered very basic, but she has not felt that way about any of the other ones that you could say that about. People really talk shit on Eros, especially within niche, and say, oh, it's a clubbing frapro scent. I'm not a clubbing frapro, and I really like it, despite being 34, which people act like it's like, oh, a 19-year-old scent. It is like a mint Tonka vanilla, and I really like it. I think it smells great. It is full bottle worthy for me. It is one of only like 2 designer scents that I feel that way about. So yeah, I'm basic for that, but I accept it and embrace it because it smells good and it gets compliments. The other complaint people will say is, oh, everybody else wears that. Yeah, I'm sure it's popular, but it's not quite like Sauvage level or Bleu de Chanel level worn at this point, I don't think. And there's so many flankers that not everybody's wearing like the EDT version, which is the one I'm talking about. But yeah, next is a deodorant, a very cheap one. Arm & Hammer Lavender Rosemary Natural Deodorant. I always like had, I want to use natural deodorant, but it just doesn't usually work. So I always like trying different ones or whatever. This one, I swear, more than any wearable fragrance, when I would put this on, she would always be like, you smell so good. What is that? Like, I'm not wearing anything. Oh, is it this? Like my deodorant? It's like, yeah, that's it. So I don't recommend this as a deodorant, at least for me. Longevity really matters there. That is one area I definitely care about longevity, and it has terrible longevity for me in terms of the effectiveness. Maybe it'd work better for you, but it apparently smells really good. I do like the smell too, and I don't even normally like lavender and wearable, fragrance, but the lavender rosemary vibe here is really nice. It actually smells a bit to me like Sauvage, funny enough, but less cologne-ish than that. And that one I think is like $4 or something. So that's a very easy one to get, and you won't be putting out too much money to blind buy deodorant that's pretty cheap in case you don't like it. But yeah, that's another one where it's like, okay, again, I don't recommend that for a situation where, oh, I'm about to be on this epic date or something like that, and let me put it on because if it was like with me, it might wear off, and that's definitely worse than just using a different deodorant. But if you're going to be around someone in the next like hour or two, that could be a really good one because apparently it is consistently popular and smelling good. And the last one is a body wash by the brand Beloved, and it's Pumpkin Tonka body wash. I got it at Target last year during fall. It's like a seasonal fall one. There's also like, it's like Pumpkin Tonka and there's some clove in it. And I was just kind of like, okay, like, oh, seasonal vibes. Yeah, like I want to feel fun and smell pumpkin shit to get in the Halloween, October, fall spirit or whatever. But I ended up being like, oh, this is actually really, like, it's just a good body wash in general. Lathers well, whatever. Pretty affordable. It's not one of those ones that's like, $30 for a little thing. I have not seen it at Target this year. I bought a lot of it though last year because I wanted to be able to use it year round. So I stocked up. But yeah, I haven't seen it this year, but there's places on, eBay, whatever, you could still find it if you want to. So often, like, I didn't use this for a while, and then I kind of switched back to it, and I would know she kept being like, when I would like get out of the shower, like, oh, you smell so good, or something like that, and I was like, okay, like, yeah, I mean, I'm fresh and clean or whatever, but I don't usually get like that, visceral sort of reaction. But then we realized that it is that Pumpkin Tonka body wash, and that consistently a lot of like, if I'm around her, like, and I recently took a shower and used a lot of it. So I guess, yeah, it has good longevity. It's not one of those body washes where you use it, oh, it smells good while you're in the shower, and then you don't smell it on your skin. No, it does stick around, definitely. So that one she has really liked. Again, that's not a sexy vibe, but that's a you smell good vibe. For the sexy vibe ones on here, definitely Aromi Sexy Man. Everyman Jack, the Signature Mint Aftershave Lotion. Maybe a little bit the Arm & Hammer Lavender Rosemary Deodorant, I guess. It wasn't as explicit as the other ones, but it was a little bit more so than like the Beloved Pumpkin Tonka body wash or the Tatcha body butter. But again, those were like attractive smelling to her. So it was still very good. It wasn't just like, oh, I wish your friend smelled like this. Like, yeah, it was like, I'm glad my husband smells like this. So yeah, she definitely liked those. Now for a couple bonus mentions, there are some that she likes but doesn't love, and I really wanted the main, portion of this list to be like, yep, these are certified that my wife absolutely loves them. Of course, she doesn't represent all women or necessarily like any other one, person that you're going to know, but she does represent someone who, as do I, is very picky about fragrances that they love. And for these ones to pass both of our tests of thinking that they smell really good, I think that is saying something. Okay, but on the like but not love list by the Fireplace, that's one where she's totally fine with me wearing it. She doesn't like absolutely love it, but she's like, okay, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Like, it smells kind of good. I love it. Next up, Chanel Allure Sport. She's actually been liking that one more lately. That one has kind of like a creamy orange, slightly vanilla-y, then with some like pepper and sea notes type of vibe. I really like that one just for kind of like a laid back day. It almost just smells kind of like people say it, an upscale deodorant or something like that. Like, it's not like it smells fancy or anything like that, but it just smells nice, fresh and clean, and just makes me happy to smell it, and she likes it too. There's a couple that have gotten like one-time compliments, and then that was not the case again. One so far, Varuek by PRIN. I think this might have been an issue where it was good on me, but smelling it from the bottle, that one has so many animalic notes, so much oud, like, it smells gross to me from the bottle, kind of. Although, no, I feel like I've probably been on video like, it smells so good. So I guess sometimes it does smell good to me from the bottle, but I have to be in the right mood. And when I had worn that on her, she was like, ooh, you smell good. And that was what I was wearing, and I was shocked that she liked it. But when I had her recently, like, oh, smell the bottles of these, she was like, it was like comical level of withdrawal from that. So I'll have to test that out further on skin again around her. Roja Elysium, that got a compliment once, and I've been wearing it as like a date night since then. I had her smelling it, and she was like, oh yeah, I recognize that, like, you wear it on date nights. But it's just kind of okay, like, I don't really love it. So it's like, oh, excuse me, next time I will wear nothing but Versace Eros on a nice date. But yeah, she did like that, and I would say Roja Elysium is absolutely a major compliment puller in general. And although people sometimes talk shit about Raja, I don't think you're very likely to run into many people if you're wearing Elysium who are going to think you smell bad. That's for sure. Next, this is kind of I guess this has really low projection, so even though I've worn it a lot during warm weather, she hasn't really noticed the smell that much. Fico di Amalfi by Acqua de Parma. When I was having her kind of smell it recently again, she was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of like that. That smells pretty good or whatever." So a half compliment, sort of, and I'll have to see more how that does with some of them. But one thing I'm thinking that would be pretty cool too is I was going to at some point do a giveaway of the 6 from the main part of this list of the ones that she has really liked. Like, it would be like a solid cologne of the Aromi Sexy Man one, the Aftershave Lotion Everyman Jack, thing of the Tatcha Body Butter, a decant of Versace Eros, one of the Arm & Hammer Rosemary deodorants, and that Pumpkin Tonka body wash. That seems like it would be a fun, kind of cool giveaway to do. So if you want to see that, let me know. And yeah, I'll probably do that either way at some point. But yeah, this is people ask for this a lot, and this is what it is so far. I will definitely update if there's any new one that ends up getting, a surprise compliment or something, because with how rare the compliments are in terms of what she actually really loves. Yeah, and I mean, that's the same for me too. After trying thousands of fragrances, I only have 20 bottles, and there's nothing on my wish list right now. It's like, oh, I want to buy that, and I'm just saving up or anything like that. That is what it is. So yeah, if you have opinions on any of these, I'm especially curious if anyone else has tried some of the ones that are like the Tatcha body butter, that lavender rosemary deodorant, that body wash, the aftershave lotion, how you feel about it, and if you get compliments on those. But yeah, and I will link in the description where you can get at least some of these.